Hi, welcome back. I'm Cindy Capri. Today I wanted to talk about the 5 most important things you need to know before you start working out. So, you're getting the mindset, you want to get in shape, you've never worked out before, or you've dabbled in working out and exercises and yoga and whatever. There's 5 things that I feel that I've seen, because I've worked out for years. And I've tried every little workout method, from your circuit training to your HIIT training to your powerlifting and the CrossFit and all. There's a million of them out there. There's a million different methods, and they're tailored just to each individual, depending on who you are or whatever you like, or they're like books, in whatever genre you like. But there's 5 things that I have found that are universally you need to understand, you need to think about, you need to comprehend and focus on when you are working out, okay, or before you work out. Number 1 is your diet. Diet. It's got to be something you can stick to. It's got to be something that is nutrient rich. It's got to be something because if you go get a diet, you go and you're like, oh, a long time ago was the Atkins diet, or it's the ketogenic diet. That's a big fad right now. So no matter what diet you pick, all right, is going to be the diet that it's got to be something that you can actually maintain. So when I talk to my clients, when I was really big into fitness and I did personal training and stuff, basically what I would do is I would have them eat the exact same thing. I've discussed this in my previous video, but eat the exact same thing that you eat every single day of the week. Meaning that if I have oatmeal for breakfast on Monday and I have Taco Bell on lunch on Monday because it's close to my job, and then I eat out with the girlfriend or the boyfriend or the grandma at Olive Garden for dinner on Monday, then do those things every single Monday. And there's a method to this. There's a method to this madness. The one thing is that it takes your diet and puts it into a controlled environment. And this is vital. This is why doctors tell you that they do this exact same thing. When you get sick, you go to the doctor and they say, hey, take these pills and you're gonna take them every 4 hours, and these 2 pills every 4 hours, and stick to it and make sure you take them at the exact same time every single day, that you have to take these until they run out or whatever. They give you a controlled environment to take that medication. Don't think that your food is any different than your medication. It goes in the same hole and it does the same stuff in your blood, okay? Just that medication is going to be a lot more powerful. So when you're thinking about food is your medicine. You want to dose it, and you want to make sure it's the same dose every single time. This is going to help you identify where the culprit is. So if on Monday you're eating that oatmeal, you got your Taco Bell and you got your Olive Garden, maybe Tuesday you're eating a bowl of cereal, I don't know, what are some Fruit Loops? You're eating some Fruit Loops. You're eating Chipotle for lunch, and you're eating Pizza Hut for dinner. Okay, make sure Tuesday it's Fruit Loops, Chipotle, and Pizza Hut every single Tuesday. Now that seems like a lot of eating out, but if that's too much eating out and you do your cooking inside, that's fine. That's what I do. Eat it inside, hand-cooked meals. All right, I'm not the best cook, and so thank God there are people out there that save me from myself. But make the exact same meal of that day every single time. I remember in South America, they would have this, it's called gnocchis on Monday. Every single Monday, they would eat gnocchis. And it was just like this big tradition thing. And at first I was like, this is stupid. We're eating gnocchis every single Monday. But it's 7 days is long enough that you're like, oh yeah, you start looking forward to that Monday because you're getting those gnocchis, man. And it's funny how I eat out with people. I eat out with my friends and family members, and guess what? They usually eat to the same places every time anyway. So it's really not that big of a stretch to put your mind in the box of the 7-day, budgeting plan. But this allows you to get your diet in a controlled environment. Okay. Another thing that you're going to have to look into is your body type. Like, very few people talk about your body type. There are 3 body types. You have your hard gainer, the person that's really hard to gain that weight. You know, you ever seen that coworker or whatever? They're the little skinny minis or whatever, and they can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat whatever. They're eating candy and pizza and ice cream, and they don't gain a single pound, and they do this day in and day out. That is a hard gainer. That is called an ectomorph. Okay, ectomorph is the body type. Then you have your hard loser. This is the person, like, you look at a gallon of milk and you gain 3 pounds. You look at a soda and you just start gaining weight. You eat that slab of pizza and your body's like, oh yeah, we'll put this pizza right here on the neck. We'll put this pizza right here on our flanks. And it just stays there forever. That is your hard loser. Okay, your hard loser is your endomorph. They're really, really hard. They're impossible to lose. Well, not impossible, but it's hard for them to lose that weight. The third type is your mesomorph. Your mesomorphs, these are the people that if they just eat a lot of food, then they start gaining weight. If they cut back on their food, then they lose the weight. Their bodies can fluctuate with ease. Okay, there's not a whole lot of struggle in it, but their body does adapt to what they're eating. So just because you're a heavy set person doesn't necessarily mean that you are an endomorph. You might be a mesomorph. It's just your diet sucks. So if your diet sucks, then you can just clean up your diet a little bit, and those pounds will come off. So, like in your budget, when you take your financial budget and you go through and you're just like starting to count all the little pennies and where they're going, and you do that for an entire month, and then you start to see how much you spent eating out. You start to see how much you spent on crap and on Amazon. You start to see where the money is being hemorrhaging at, right? This is the exact same thing with your diet. That's why I tell you to get in that controlled environment type of program, because then you're going to start to see that, man, I drink like 100 ounces of soda in 2 days. Some people are like, that's only like 50 ounces a day. That's easy, man. I get a 40 ouncer like on the way to work, at work, and then on the way back. And if that's fine, that's what you do, that's perfectly fine. But that's probably where the culprit is going to be. You cut out that soda and watch the pounds melt off. Cut it out and you'll watch. You're going to see it's going to get that food budget, and you're going to see that, man, I'm hemorrhaging because I am spending all my money at Taco Bell. I'm spending all my money eating out of the fast food, the unhealthy fast food place, right? Taco Bell may come out with a really healthy meal in the future, and they hopefully they endorse me one day with their healthy meal. But as long as it's crap food, I'm going to shoot it down. It's not that healthy for you. But get it into control. If that's your primary diet, then get it in control. Look at what you're spending most of your food, where it's going at, okay, where you're spending most of your food time on, and then you'll be able to identify the culprit that's packing on those pounds, that's making you feel lethargic, that's making you feel exhausted all the time, okay? So the other thing is not just what type of body you are, it's what type of, or your age. Because when you're younger, have you seen those fitness videos, and it's the 20-year-old guy, he's 19 years old, and he's just like talking about how, hey man, I'm telling you that I can eat whatever I want, and I look at my body, I got this amazing body of steel or whatever. You've seen those videos on YouTube, I know, because I have. That is a 20-year-old body. That dude just barely came out of puberty, and he's coming in and he's trying to tell you 30, 40, 50-year-old person about how to stay fit. I'm trying to tell you, hormone levels change. Your age changes, because and they're going to blow my comment box up saying that, no, you just lost your mind or whatever, but it's a fact. Your hormone levels change as you age. And not only that, your body becomes more proficient at retaining nutrients. And that means nutrient of fat, nutrient of sugar, nutrient of whatever. Your body gets better at holding on to those things. And so as you age, you want to be able to get more proficient at eating less of them, or eating them in a more proficient way as to your workout cycle or your sleep cycle, those things, okay? When we think about fat, and people will be like, it's calories in versus calories out, I'm here to tell you, there's three systems in your body, and your body burns energy three different types of ways. And if you understand this, you're going to understand pretty much like the ketogenic diet and all the other little diets that are out there. It's going to grasp them, put them into simple terms, all right? And basically, let's go out into the woods and build a fire. This is the best way I can think of to explain this. We're building a fire. So, if I'm out to build a fire, I'm gonna go get what's called kindling, right? This kindling is like the grass and these leaves, and it's the material that if I put a match to, it lights right up, okay? This starter, it just starts right up, all right? I light this fire and it just starts right up, but it burns out really, really fast. You ever taken a little bit of grass or even a piece of paper, you light it on fire and it burns out really, really quick, right? It's gone. It's what it's designed to do. It's just designed to burn hot, burn fast, and burn out. Then you get your sticks. You got your little sticks. You got your little branches, it's a little bit thicker, okay? This thicker wood is just thin enough that it catches on fire, but it's just thick enough that it burns a little bit longer than that starter stuff does, right? Some people call this the kindling, but we'll call it the kindling. Sorry to get you confused. You have the starter, you have your kindling, you have your starter that lights the kindling, and then once you get that lit, then you light the oak logs, all right? But this kindling, you light it, it'll burn for longer. And then you put that around the stuff that lights up really, really fast. And then over that, right, you got your little tri-pyramid, you got your little tent, your Indian tent. Around that, you take your big oak logs. Now you have these big oak logs and you put them around the big oak logs. Can I take a lighter and light a big oak log by putting it under there? No, I can't. It takes too long. That oak log needs a constant heat for a longer period of time to start up. And so this is exactly how your body is, all right? In your body, you have these carbohydrates, and that is your starter. The carbohydrates burn quick, burn fast, burn out. So you take that sugar, you eat that white potato, you get that carb in there, and it allows you to do a lot of high intensity effort really, really, really quick. So you can go in there and it converts it to the creatine phosphate. It converts it to this fuel that just burns really, really fast, right? This gives you that energy to do your sprints or do your really, really heavy lifting or whatever. That really, really heavy lifting right at first, okay? Then comes in your kindling. Then comes in your thicker sticks. This is what is like your protein bases. So your meat or your chicken, right? This protein goes into your body and your body will burn it. And it burns lower and slower, right? But it burns longer, okay? So this is doing you're going in and you're working out. You're doing a hard workout for, let's say, an hour. You go in and doing that hard workout for an hour. Your body will burn through those carbs, and now it starts to burn those proteins that you're taking in. Those heavier oak logs, or the heavier sticks, right? The kindling. And then, if you continue to work out, this is why people who are long distance runners, okay, those long distance runners, they're so skinny. They're so skinny. They're trying to shed as much weight as they possibly can. Their bodies burn through carbs. Their bodies burn through that protein that they use for fuel, and then their body is burning fat. Fat. This is where your ketogenic diet comes in, using fat as a energy source. Okay, when your body has to sustain a workout for a long period of time, it has to exert energy for a long period of time. It kicks in that fat burning process. Okay, that fat burning process will start burning away that fat. This is why people think that just running for freaking ever, you're just going to just dissolve all that fat. You do that, don't get me wrong, it does eat at that fat, but there are negative effects that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So, understanding what those three foods do, those three types of foods, as you're taking them in, it depends on what your workout is. Okay, if you're doing if you're doing some long strenuous workout, like you're trying to be the cross country runner, then yeah, use fat as that energy source. You want a higher fat diet. Okay? If you're trying to go for Mr. Olympia, doing the ketogenic diet is not going to get you to the Mr. Olympia. Okay? They do carb loading, carb depletion. They do all this complicated stuff, but it's not the ketogenic diet. Then, so if you're just trying to age well, you're just trying to be mobile, you're just trying to then find out what age group you're in, find out, because your body's going to use those resources more or more efficiently. You got to know what type of body type you are, and you got to stick to a diet. So get your diet in a controlled environment and then start making the changes. Number 2 of the 5 most important things that you need to know before you work out is sleep. Sleep. Proper sleep is necessary. It's vital. You cannot make any type of progress, you cannot make any type of gains if you are not sleeping, because whatever workout you do in the gym, whatever workout you do climbing that mountain, whatever workout you do, if you're not sleeping, then your body is not getting those nutrients to where they need to go. That's when your body builds the muscle. That's when it rebuilds it. That's when your body repairs your brain. That's when your body goes in and sends all those nutrients to where it needs to go is when you're sleeping. Okay? It doesn't need to allocate any energy to exerting force around, to move around. So it allocates all those nutrients to repairing, getting you ready for the next day. And when proper sleep comes into everything from making sure you work thoroughly through the day, you've depleted those nutrients throughout the day, but also that you have a mattress that doesn't keep you up all night. Shout out to mattress commercials, but you got to have that proper mattress so you're not tossing and turning and staying awake all night. The other one is making sure the temperature in your house is proper. You don't have blue lights on in your room. You don't have that TV going on in your room. I know people, I've dated some girls that they could not sleep without that TV running. And that is horrible. That wreaks havoc on your body, because your body's not able to fully shut down as long as those blue lights are beaming at it. So how does that work? That works way back when we were hunters and gatherers, or way back in the day. Our bodies developed that when the red sun comes up, okay, when that red sun is going down, when the red sun is going down, it casts that red glow over the sky. It tells our body to start shutting down, getting ready for night. When that blue sky comes up, it's telling our body that the light changes, just the rays, the chemicals from the different light rays, okay, that hit our body, tells our body it's time to wake up. So it's vital that you make sure that temperature and that those lights in your room and the mattress that you're sleeping on are all conducive to getting a proper night's sleep. I haven't even gone into I can't go in completely to the sleep thing, because we're going into like your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm, just a snippet, I'll talk about it in just a minute, but you're gonna have to do some research on this one, or maybe I'll do another video on it. But your circadian rhythm is basically when you're born, your body, it's proven, your body has a clock. And it says when time is time. Have you ever heard that I'm a night owl? Oh, I'm a morning person. That is your circadian rhythm. And everybody's body has it. And when your body says it's time to go to sleep, that's when it's time to go to sleep. When your body says it's time to wake up, that's when your body says it's time to wake up. And the more you fight against that, that also wreaks havoc on your system. So there's a couple websites out there. You should check some out, or just YouTube it. How do I find out my circadian rhythm? You're going to find it. There's a lot of information on the internet for this. Maybe I'll post a video on it for you in the future. But find out your circadian rhythm and try to build your life around that. You're going to get the best sleep you've ever had. Other thing is your proper meals before your bed. Get all the food in that you need to get in, the nutrients that you need to get in. I know this should have been in the diet part, but before bed. And I'm not talking right before bed. I try to get all my nutrients in 2 to 3 hours before I go to sleep. That way my body has processed at least the large majority of all the food that I've eaten in that meal. It's processed it all out. And so it's not just sitting in my stomach when I'm throughout when I'm sleeping. I'm taking that and just adding it and trying to store it somewhere. I want those calories. I want those, especially the calories. And as we age, like I said, your body burns or retains nutrients more. So if you're taking in higher calories, you want those calories burned out when you go to sleep. So you wake up feeling leaner, wake up feeling those calories aren't being packed onto your flanks, on your butt, or on wherever, your neck. Number 3 of the most important things you need to know before you start working out. Number 3, this is the big one that no one talks about, and that is stress, okay? Your emotional stress wreaks havoc on your physical development. When you're stressing out, it is almost impossible for your body to progress in a healthy way, because your body is just feeling the stress. And I'm not talking about working out, because working out is stress in of itself. But if you're emotionally distressed, if you feel emotional distressed by your environment, your situation, what's going on in your life, problems or circumstances that are going on in your life, it is really, really hard to make physical progression. Now, maybe working out is the therapy that helps you deal with that. And that may be. It's still going to be difficult to reach the type of gains or to reach the type of progress that you're wanting to make. Especially if you're trying to make a lot of progress or a lot of gains. Maybe you're just trying to cut 5 pounds. That can be possible. But if you're trying to do an overhaul of your body, then it's really hard to do that when you are in a highly toxic, stressful environment. Okay? The best thing we can hope for is just a maintenance thing. Just maintain. But yeah, you want to bring down those stress levels. So if that means cutting out some friends, if that means cutting out in a toxic relationship, if that means changing your job, you got to do it. This is your health. We're talking that stress can reverberate, have negative effects that reverberate for years after we've undergone that environment. You don't think so? Talk to soldiers about PTSD. Talk to World War II survivors about their PTSD. I mean, talk to just stressful families out in the street, whatever, undergoing stress, and how they end up dealing with that years later on with their kids. Or maybe you had a mom that was too strict, or a dad that I don't know you consider abusive or whatnot. This can all happen under that stressful environment, and the effects reverberate for years. So it's really hard to make any of that physical progress under those conditions. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's really, really hard. It does a lot of overhauling and mindset and focusing on getting to your happy place when you start that working out. Number four of your working out things you need to know before working out. Lifting weights versus cardio versus a HIIT training program. So when you do cardio, like I'd mentioned prior, cardio, you're burning those fat logs. You're burning those oak logs, okay? That, most people would be like, oh, that's me. That I'm going to be spending all that time doing that long distance running. It does do that. It does burn that fat. However, I've read several studies. I've read several articles. Look it up. YouTube it. Go online. Check it out. Maybe I'll post a video about it in the future, but there's studies that are out there about the long-term effects of long distance cardio or long-term cardio. That is how it works is this. When you do cardio, okay, or when you work out, any type of workout, your brain, releases cortisol. Your cortisol levels go up, okay? When you do cardio, those cortisol levels stay high. Best to do cardio for no longer than 25 minutes, 30 minutes. If you're doing cardio longer than that, your cortisol levels are so high and they're sustained for so long that it begins to affect the brain. It ages the brain. Cortisol is the stress hormone. You don't want that floating around for very long in your head. You want it dumped. You want to get those cortisol levels, the stress hormone, flushed out, okay? It's good to have, it's good to feel it, it's good to experience it, and then get it dumped out because it ages the brain. So they've done all these studies on these long distance runners, and they find out that their brain has significantly aged at a higher progressive rate than people who don't do that sustained cardio. Okay, so that's a possible negative attribute or consequence of doing long-term cardio. So have a heads up with that. Overloading benefits on muscle. So when you're doing like muscle workouts, this also has elevated levels of cardio. You have those elevated levels of cardio, elevated levels of cortisol. But when you work out, when you're lifting something really, really heavy, those cortisol levels go really high. And then when you release them and you take that minute or that second break or that 30-second break or whatever, the cortisol levels are allowed to dump. So the cortisol level is like a bucket. It fills up and then you dump it, and then it fills up and then you dump it. It fills up and then you dump it. And so you're able to release those cortisol levels throughout that training. That's where overloading can be a better form of workout. Cardio is good because it exercises your respiratory system. Okay, that's why it's called cardiorespiratory workout. It exercises your lungs. It exercises your respiratory system, which is vital in pumping that blood, in the perfusion of the blood throughout the body. You need those really, really strong lungs, especially if you're wanting to like help, I don't know, maybe combat the coronavirus. If you have really, really powerful lungs and you get the coronavirus and it does like some long-term effects, then, well, maybe you can overcome that a little bit better. I was in the military and I had several buddies that, man, they would smoke cigars, they would smoke cigarettes while they were doing a 2-mile run. And I was like, man, the damage you must be causing on your lungs. But the other parts of their lungs that weren't damaged were so strong that they just powered through it. They could power through it because the lungs were nice and tough. And so if you're in that boat, then by all means do that cardio, but try to break it up. Try to mix that cardio up with an overloading workout. Overloading would be lifting weights. Overloading is cardiovascular. So you're exercising your cardiovascular system. Your vascularity meaning your veins. You're lifting really, really heavy weights to allow the muscle to grow. Okay, this is really good, except for the negative effect. The negative aspect of cardiovascular work is that if you don't do any cardiorespiratory development, then you can, people have died, bodybuilders have died of heart attacks because they didn't do any cardiorespiratory work. Their bodies were like morbidly obese people that have died of heart attacks. It was just too much strain on their heart. Their heart and lungs were too weak. So when they would move, they would be out of breath because their lungs and heart weren't strong enough to work in unison to pump that blood. This is where the different programs like HIIT training comes in. High intensity interval training. High intensity interval training, HIIT, is the workout methodology that allows you to try to lift heavy weights as well as do them back to back to back in like a circuit type system where you are getting cardiorespiratory development in as well. If you just understand this concept of this, I know I just kind of went into deep stuff, but go back to the basics. You can work out hard, you can work out long, you can't work out hard and long. Your body doesn't work that way. Okay? You can run those 50 miles at that little jogger pace. You can run those 50 miles at that little jogger pace. You can sprint up that hill, right? But you can't sprint 50 miles. No one can sprint 50 miles. So you can run long, you can work out long, you can work out hard. You cannot work out long and hard. So pick your workouts on what you're doing. Pick your workouts. You want to be able to do both. You want to develop both systems. The reason why is because that keeps both those systems in your body nice and toned and healthy. Number 5 of the 5 things that you need to know before you work out. Number 5 is going to be consistency. I cannot preach this one enough. I cannot say this enough to people. from my coworkers to my family members to my friends. They all, oh, how do you get healthy? How do you get that body? How do you have so much energy? How do you sleep so well? How are you always happy? How are you? It comes down to consistency. I'm telling you, it balances the hormones, it balances the diet, it helps things, it helps you sleep better. Working out consistently, whether you are doing home workouts, calisthenic type workouts, or where you're in the gym working out, doing overloading, or you're doing cardio, being consistent is vital. It is what separates the weekend dieters to the fit people. All the fit people. You think of the fitness shows, or you think of the performance shows, the strongest man in the world. I don't care. It's that consistency. Any professional athlete in any category is consistently going to be training. So you have to be consistently training too. Not so you can be a professional athlete, but so you can get the results that you want. If you're trying to overhaul your body, or you're trying to lose a ton of pounds, or you're trying to just age well and live a healthy lifestyle, you have to do this in a consistent manner. So create your life around that. It doesn't have to define you, but that is something that you're going to do. You're going to take a proactive approach in being healthy. So your lifestyle change is going to be way easier if you just take that decision out of it. I tell my friends, I tell my family, I tell, you get in a relationship, start dating someone, you tell them, I'm going to the gym. There's no choice. I don't have a choice. I have to go to the gym. It's not that I want to. It's not that I do want to. I really like it, but I have to. This is imperative for me to age well. It's imperative for me to maintain and stay independent and functioning, and so I'm not lethargic and I don't have a sedentary lifestyle. This is for my health. So you have to be proactive in your health. Take the decision out of it, and don't be like, oh, should I go to the gym today? You ever been in that position? Should I go to the gym today? Should I? Take the decision out of it. I'm going because I have to, because I already decided. And then you go. You just go. I don't care if you feel like it. I don't care if you don't want to go. Just go. I promise. 10 minutes after being in there, your attitude's going to change. You're going to be like, oh man, I'm glad I came to the gym today. Okay. If it's not about going to the gym, just do something active. If your thing is nature walking, go nature walk. Just make sure you do it every day. That's what my mom did. My mom would go nature walking all the time. She'd walk this big old loop around the block, the outskirts of the town that we lived. She would walk for miles around this big old loop. And I remember just holding on, walking with my mom, and we'd talk about life and we'd bond and everything. But I didn't know why she was doing it. My mom was doing it so she could age well. Just decide now, and then don't think about it, later on. Just, you've already decided, I'm going to do it, go do it. Just remember, the last thing to follow up is a lazy day in the gym is better than no day. A lazy day to the park is better than doing nothing. A lazy day walking your dog or throwing that frisbee or walking by the lake is better than nothing. At least you are out. You're getting vitamin D from the sun. Or some people taking their shoes off and they're rubbing it in the dirt or whatever, so they're earthing or grounding, whatever they call it. At least you're out, you're doing something healthy instead of sitting in front of Netflix, okay, absorbing that artificial light. You need to go out. That's the fifth thing, the last thing. So we're talking about diet, we're talking about your different workout programs, we're talking about sleep, we're talking about consistency. Think about all these things before you start working out. Ponder them, YouTube them, the different variations of diets, different variations of workouts, your different body types, your circadian rhythms. Look these things up. Okay, this is only going to make you healthier. It's only going to make you stronger. And that's what this channel is all about, is getting you into a more healthy lifestyle, getting you into a more natural and in a state where you can see progress in your health. You can see progress in what you're doing, and your overall happiness is improved. That's all I'm trying to do. So If you like any of this content, hit like, hit subscribe, support me. I appreciate you. Share my video. I appreciate you. You all have a good night.